So back to home, let's look at some French examples next. And one final thing I might have forgotten to mention is that you can also see the number of contracts for each country you are trying to dive deeper into. This might be useful context or just help you understand the differences might be due to different sizes of not just the country, but the tendering practices as well. So now I'm not going to go to search, but rather market analysis. This could also be achieved or available here, but let's just stick to this as it's more intuitive, I think, to follow the headers than to find this on the page themselves. Now, for the market analysis, there are a lot of available information which you can already check. The first is that you have not just the two-digit CPV codes, which are the primary markets like construction work, repair and maintenance services, and so on, but you can also check some sub-markets. For example, in the transport services, you can see the distribution of lower level of NUTS codes, for example, road transport services, transport services, and so on. Let's just click on the road transport services. Now we can see the three-digit market and some five-digit CPV markets being distributed. This figure already might help you to find the largest markets and select them as you want to zone in on one specific market, or you might be more interested in the more niche markets like taxi services and find some information here as well. For those countries that we don't have a lot of data or those sub markets, of course, you will see that some of the visualizations are missing, but the data will be there if you want to download it, for example, here. The example I wanted to present is the public road transport services. This is the largest five-digit CPV and the largest three-digit CPV under road construction, road services. And you can see here that we have an average indicator of good procurement score over time, then a sector, the number of tenders and the volume of the tenders over time, and of course the main suppliers or the main procedure types conducted in the market of your choice. Apart from the main suppliers, of course, the main buyers could be achieved as well. And then you can check some regions if you're interested in the regional disparities between, for example, southwestern France, southeastern France, or the middle of France. For the presentation purposes, I also want to show you that if you not only interested in a market, but some of the largest actors or the most corrupt actors, you can filter the data more thoroughly. For example, go here, go to the volume. You might be interested in one of these highest volumes suppliers. For example, for me, Voyages Bourré, or I think Drunken Voyages is the translation, was somewhat interesting. When I'm talking about public road transport services, Drunken Voyages is not a name that I would expect, and not especially not in the five largest suppliers by volume overall. So here I'm interested in this specific company. I of course go through the same, like selecting all the different company names that are registered but are basically meaning the same company. I check that okay, I think these are quite related to the company, so I will keep them, but you can always deselect them if that's more to your liking. And then I can check whether the integrity indicators, transparency indicators, or anything on this page paints me a story which might flag this company as worthy of more investigation. For example, you can see that the buyers are all from Bretagne and from Rennes, especially. And you can see that this is only a transport services sector, on the transport services sectors. And here you can benchmark it against all other companies. And sadly, I see that while it was very interesting to me at first glance, it might not be that interesting in the case of integrity as I hoped it would be. But of course, I can check whether adding these two back changes anything. For example, I see that during COVID, these drunken voyages had a lot of contracts or a lot of contract value accumulated over a few amount of tenders, which might interest me in not checking the whole buyer or the whole supplier, sorry, but rather some specific contracts that were made during 2020. And then I can go here, select an over decision date as a new column, and then I can arrange these so that it's easier to me to find the 2020 or any contract that was awarded near 2020, and then check the specific contracts that might be there. And now I can see that, yes, this was an average in the integrity indicator. So the score, not too high, not too low. So this might not be the best case for me to build a PhD on or to investigate further. So that was the market analysis. I wanted to save some time, so I cut some corners. I hope I painted the full picture. If you have questions, please ask. And if not, the final, very brief example will be commenced in a few moments. All right, no questions. Then I will go to the search tab again and risk rank buyers in a specific region or city. I decided to use a smaller French city, and then I can. I also added some other important filters. Let me reiterate that you can choose your own filters here. And I was only interested in buyers with at least 10 contracts so that they are more representative against each other. And then if I want to rank or risk rank the buyers in a selected city, I can just go down here and choose the integrity indicator composite scores to try to rank these buyers against each other. For example, we can already see that there is one buyer which is a bit or significantly, depending on your points of view, has a lower integrity indicator score. So this is something that I might be interested in. Or you can see that most of these are on the same 75 to 90 range, and this might mean that okay, this region seems to be quite okay. So I'm not interested in the region anymore, or I'm only interested in this one particular buyer, and so on. From here on, anything that we discussed previously and now has been recorded, you can check, and then you can check for stories for yourself, even on the buyer level, or then more particularly on the tender level.